So thank you for coming back to my channel. If you're interested in learning how to make this bag, come along with me. So the first thing we're cutting is the fabric pattern, and this measurement is for the sides of the bag. This one is for the base of the bag. So for the bigger cut, we would need 2 of that for the sides of the bag. So now we're going to structure the side of the bag, and I'm just measuring 1 inch inwards on the diagonals. So these diagonals I've measured in will be the top of the bag, and we're just going to curve them out that way. So I want the top of the bag to have a curved shape, as you can see in the finished product. So I'm just going to go ahead to cut out that portion, and as you can see, we have the shape of our bag. So this piece is from my jeans trousers that I've cut out and turned it into a pair of shorts. And now I'm going to cut open this side that is plain. I'm going to do the other one off camera so that we can save time. So the fabric pattern that we cut earlier, I'll use that to cut out the shape of the bag from this jeans fabric. So I'm going to cut 2 pieces. I'm going to cut the second one off camera, just like I said, so we can save time. So here I've cut the 2, and notice that I specifically positioned the pattern so that we can have that decorated part in that section, because I wanted that design. I wanted that to be a form of design. So we'll do the same for the base of the bag, but here there is a difference. We'll be leaving out extra pieces, as you can notice, on the top and the base, on the top and the lower part rather. So I'll be using this interfacing, it's not so thick, to give some structure to the bag, and I'll start by cutting the base of the bag from this interfacing. So I've used this light interfacing so that my machine would be able to sew it, because I'm using a small sewing machine. So the same thing for the sides of the bag, which is the front and the back of the bag. Don't forget, cut out the exact measurement, no extra allowance here. So we have 2 pieces of this as well, and remember we had extra allowance on the lower and top part of our base pattern. So this is the reason why we have that, so we can fold over on the 2 sides. So for the base, you need to give extra allowances on the lower and the upper part. So here I have ironed the fabric on the interfacing for the side. So we have the 3 sides, and this is the zip we'll be using. I'm using this iron zip. So if you don't have this, you can use any other type of zip that is strong enough for you. So this material, the satin material, is what we are using for the interior of the bag. And now I have cut the same shape as the exterior, but now I've extended it by 2 inches, as you can see. The reason for this you will find out as you go ahead. So now I'm going to pin the zip and the exterior to each side of the bag. I'm starting with this plain side. So this is the back of the bag. So I started from the point where I have that closure from the jean that I cut out already. So I'll go ahead to pin down and follow the shape of the pattern. If you have issues around the edges, you can cut open the zip a bit. Be careful not to cut into the main zip, so it can lay flat across the edge. You can see mine, I already cut that part. So we're just going to stop at the same point where we started on the other end. So I'm pinning down so it's easy for me to sew on my machine without having to experience or waste time, experience more challenges in manipulating through the machine or wasting time. So I'm just going to transfer to the machine and sew across that way, following the shape of the bag. So I'm done with this side of the bag, and I'm just going to flip so you can see. So it looks so neat and beautiful already. And don't mind the color of my interior. I actually had so much extra of that fabric and wanted something to do with it. So now this is for the inner pockets of the other side. The measurement is as posted on the screen, so I just folded on all the sides and I folded into two that way. So I folded and made sure that they were laying on top of each other. So I'm just going to centralize this and ensure that we have equal spaces on both sides of the fabric. So here now I've sewn down with the machine, and then I also parted in the middle to make it into two pockets. So for the exterior of the front, we need this pocket, and I've measured out fabric. As you can see, the measurements. This will be for the flap. This tiny bit of jean fabric is for the flap, as you can see in the picture. So I've measured out the fabric. I'm just going to sew on the folded side and the other side as well. So for these, we'll fold in half and sew straight across. So as you can see, I've already sewn the flap and I've attached it to the bag, to the main body, which is the front side of the bag. For the frontal, from the front pocket also, I have sewn down just like I showed you earlier, and so the flap and the front pockets are in place. So I'm going to use this piece of velcro to secure both ends together. I'm just going to remove that adhesive seal and then just tape it down that way. So that is in place. If you don't have one with adhesive, you can easily get the one that you can sew and you can just attach, or you can use any other. So now I'm going to, just like I've done here, I have sewn down the fabric pocket for the front, and the front is ready. Next, we're going to be attaching the base of the bag. So I'll start with the front. The measurements for the base, just like we've done before, we'll ensure that we're placing it at the center by measuring same measurements at both sides, which is 1 3/4. 1 3/4 on the two sides. So be careful to properly place this. Ensure that you have equal allowances on the two sides, so your bag is not skewed. Yeah. So I'm done with the front here. As you can see, I have sewn that part, and I'm now also going to do the same thing for the back of the bag. Remember, we already fixed the zip and the interior of that side, so we'll ensure that the space on the two sides are equal also for the lower and the upper parts. You can take your measurements if you can. And so here I have secured both sides. I've secured both sides, so I'm going to work on the zipping, the zip and the lining for the other side, which is the frontal part, the front of the bag. So same process like we did for the back of the bag. Pin down following the pattern. Cut open at the edges if you need to, so the zip can lay flat. Be careful not to cut into the main zip, you just want to cut in a little bit. So stop at the same point where you have started on the other side. And I'm also going to do the same thing, take to the machine to sew across. So we're done here, and as you can see, the two sides are done. So we have the zip and the interior for both sides, and now we can close up the sides. But first and foremost, we need to work on the handle, and this piece of fabric will be the one to attach on the bag, where we can hook our snap for the main bag handle. So the piece of fabric we've cut is such that can fit into the rectangular ring, as you can see. So here I think I have more than what I want. I'm just going to reduce it. The total height I want to achieve is 2 inches. So we'll go back to the rectangular ring later. For now, we want to sew and connect the two sides of the bag. So I'm just going to fix the zip and zip up and turn inside out. So we will be sewing the front and the back of the main bag together. Align both sides, ensure that they are laying on top of each other at the same exact position. So I'm going to sew across down that way. Yeah, so ensuring that they align, just going to take off those threads so you can see clearly what I'm trying to do. And I'm going to be using another color of thread so you can see the way I've joined them clearly. So ensure that you align both sides, and you can see here I use black thread so it's easier for you to see what I have sewn. So I stopped at the edge of the zip, and as you can see what it looks like on the other side. Same for this side. So you see what it looks like on the outside. Looks well connected because I started. That's why I said you should ensure that both sides are aligned, because that will definitely show on the outside. So we're done with this part. Both sides have been connected, joined together. Stop at the zip point for now. Don't extend beyond that. Ensure that what you see on the outside is what you like. If not, you can take time to correct it. So the rectangular ring we worked on, I've come back to it. So I have the total height to be 2 inches. Like I said, that's the height I want, 2 inches. You can make yours lesser if you would like. So I'm going to flatten each side and place that strategically on that point, not too far from that zip point, but just like ½ inch down away from it, so it will be easy to sew on the machine. So sew on the lower part and close to the ring itself. So I've already done that here, and now we're going to work on the base of the bag. So flatten the base against the side of each of the sides. So you press open the side of the bag and then flatten this base, as you can see me do here, against that midpoint. Do the same on the other side. So you flatten the midpoints, and you can see here I have sewn across. I've done that on the two sides. I've done that on the two sides. So I'm just going to reduce that bulk a bit. Be careful not to cut into the sewing. And if you don't have so much, you don't need to trim that. So you can see what the base looks like. It's already taking shape, and you can see by the connection that I've connected the sides. Also, I've connected the sides So you can see what it looks like on the inside. I'm turning it inside out, so you can see I've connected a ring holder, which is a rectangular ring. You can see there I've connected that, and this is the base of the bag. I need to iron that. The fabric is a bit rumpled. I'll do that later. So this is the interior of our bag, and you can see I've closed it here. You see what it looks like. See the zip, see how we have lines on the side, and also the pockets. So you can see our bag has taken shape already, but it's not done yet. We'll be concluding the rest of this tutorial in the second part of the video, and you can find that using the link below. See you soon.